So why are some people insulting me in the comment section of this video? Why? Guys, sometimes, although I have a tough skin, sometimes it hurts too. It hurts. Okay. Anyway, some people made mention in the comment section of that video about the Ugandan High Court judge that there are actually ways that people can, you know, bring domestic workers to work for them in their house in the UK, right? And I answered them that that pathway is not realistic because I've wanted to do a video on that video long ago, maybe like 2 years ago. And I realized that it's just not realistic, honestly. But for those who want to know exactly how this pathway works, I'm talking about the domestic worker visa route, okay? If you want to know how it works, how you can bring somebody from your country to work for you in the UK as a chauffeur, as a nanny, as a cleaner in your house, how you can legally do that the proper way, just stay tuned. Stop that. So hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. My name is Nanel Griselda. No, I am not an immigration lawyer. Yes, I have read online and I'm just going to share with you things that I have read online, okay? So on this channel, I talk about nursing, I talk about migration, I talk about life in the UK as an immigrant in general, okay? So if these are topics that interest you, please consider subscribing. So the domestic worker visa is a type of visa that somebody can apply for to come to the UK to work for their employer, or their employer, obviously with the permission of the domestic worker, can apply for it for the domestic worker to come and help him or her in the UK, right? Obviously, just like any other visa category, there are eligibility criteria, there are requirements and all of that. And that is why I say that this particular visa category is not meant for most of the people that watch me. I mean, 90% of the people that watch me won't benefit from this. I know my audience, and this is why. So first of all, this visa allows you to apply for this domestic worker visa to come to the UK to work as either a nanny, a cleaner, a chauffeur, cook, etc. But unless you are a diplomat, unless you have a diplomatic passport, you can only keep this person in your house for 6 months. And the sad part is it cannot be extended, it cannot be renewed after the 6 months. However, if you're a diplomat and let's say you've been transferred to the UK to come and work as, let's say, UK ambassador to your country or whatever, and you come to the UK and let's say your contract is for 2 years or 4 years, you can actually get this type of visa for your house help or your maid from back home, and then the maid can stay with you on that visa for 2 years. And even after the 2 years, if you are still working in the UK as a diplomat, yes, you can extend the visa for this person for some 2 more years, you know. But how many people watch me are diplomats? I mean, how many diplomats do we even have? How many people who watch me are diplomats? So the next thing is that the visa application costs about £637, but that is not even the most difficult part. So the reason why a lot of people were like, JUN Judge could have used that, okay? I don't know if she's considered a diplomat or not. A lot of people were saying that she could use that, and I'm going to highlight some of the cons of this particular visa category and explain why this woman probably did not use it. No, I am not saying that I am in support of what she did, but I'm just explaining why it was an unrealistic way for her, right? So the first thing is that this person you're bringing over, you should have a previous or a past relationship with this person. The person should have at least worked for you as a house help for at least 12 months prior before you come into the UK. So let's say you're on a skilled worker visa, right? And then you want to bring a domestic worker to come and help you in the UK. Let's say you've been in the UK for, let's say, 4 years, you've given birth to triplets and you're struggling with childcare, and then your family back home has found somebody for you, right? I know that back home, sometimes even just the fact that you are providing a person shelter or accommodation, clothing, food, and all of that is enough for some of them. They'll not even ask to be paid. I know that some people also help them learn a skill. Like in Ghana, growing up, most of the maids that came to our house, before they left, we bought them sewing equipment for them to start their sewing business and all of that. And then there are some of them that also came to live with us that we were paying them something every month, aside the fact that we're feeding them and we were sleeping in our house, and then we're buying clothes for them and all of that. So with this particular one, if you have been in the UK for so long, probably your family just found this person for you, you cannot bring the person because you need to prove that the person has worked for you as a house help or as a maid or as a cleaner for at least 12 months before coming to the UK. So that is the first con, right? The second thing is that unless you're a diplomat, like I said, it's only for 6 months. So if you need somebody to help you with childcare for, let's say, until your children are a bit older, no, you cannot. It doesn't work like that unless you're a diplomat. And another thing is that this particular work visa category is legally binding, and it's very, very tricky. What do I mean? I mean that obviously, like I always say, in Rome we do what the Romans do. You cannot apply the same employment terms or oga and house help terms from back home in here. Over here, once the person is coming on a domestic worker visa, there should be a legal contract stating the employment terms, the working hours, the number of paid or unpaid leave, and all of that. Okay, and you should state this, and then you are signing. This is legally binding. The employee is also going to sign, and immigration will have a look at this. So on the website of the gov.uk, they've written that, like any other worker in the UK, you will have employment rights. They are speaking to the maid in this case, while you are working in the UK. This is very important because the rules could be different to the country you live in now. The UK has a national minimum wage, and by law, your employer must pay you at least the minimum. The amount changes every year, and you can check, and then there's a link to the national minimum wage rate website. The only deductions that your employer may take from your salary, other than tax and national insurance as appropriate, are for accommodation where your employer provides this to you. The maximum your employer can take from your salary is £7 a day or £49 a week. You must still be left with at least the national minimum wage after any such deductions have been made. You must be given regular pay slips that show any deductions for tax and national insurance if you are required to pay it. If your employer does not pay you the national minimum wage, they will be breaking the law. You can report them if they do not agree to increase your pay. The UK's immigration rules require that your employer must confirm in writing that they will not seek to claim any exemption from paying the national minimum wage. Do you know what the national minimum wage is at the moment? We're talking about hourly. This person is living in your house. This person is cooking. This person is cleaning. This person is probably babysitting your children when you are away. So this person is like in your house working, like, let me say 24/7, not necessarily 24/7, because there are times that obviously she'll go to bed. But this person is literally working for you day in, like all day. Explain to me how you're going to pay this person. This woman came as a student. I don't know how rich she is, but if she had brought somebody on this particular terms, she was going to pay this person minimum wage every day. And although she can take the accommodation out, the amount left should still be at least the minimum wage. How many people can afford it? So this is a very costly way. It's for the rich, okay? Not everybody can bring a domestic worker through this route. First of all, has the person worked for you for at least 12 months prior to, coming to the UK? Are you willing to pay the national minimum wage? Are you willing to sign a legally binding contract of the working hours? How much you're going to pay the person? Are you willing to pay the person the minimum wage and all of that? Also, after 6 months, the person is going to go back. If that is the case, then why not just get a childminder in the UK? Why not just get a childminder or a babysitter from these care websites in the UK, and then you can pay the person? Because some even take less than that, or some childminders even take less than the minimum wage. So why don't you even? That is even cheaper. And most of these people are trained, they have certificates and all of that. The only thing is they might not come to your house to help you clean or cook, but at least in terms of the babysitting aspect, they can do that. You see why it's just not realistic for most of us? It's not realistic. It's not, okay? And somebody might also mention au pair, the au pair route. And I have done about 3 videos about au pair. I've interviewed somebody that actually came to the UK as an au pair. I have videos about the au pair pathway and how you can actually bring au pairs and all of that. So I'll leave the links to all of these videos here. But let me just briefly mention the au pair and explain to you why the au pair route is also not realistic. You cannot bring somebody to help you long term on the au pair route. Let me explain. So if you go on the gov.uk website about au pair, it describes au pairs as somebody who lives with a family that they work for. They are also entitled to the national minimum wage and the national living wage. And at the moment, the problem is that I know that in terms of care and cleaning, usually people would like to get people from their country or their continent. Like, say if I'm a Ghanaian, I would like to get somebody to help me in the house who's a Ghanaian. Maybe the person is going to cook for me. The person should be able to know how to cook Ghanaian meals, right? Let's say I'm busy and I can't cook and I'm bringing an au pair just to help me with cooking. They should be able to cook Ghanaian meals and not Chinese meals. You understand what I mean? However, at the moment in the UK, you can only hire an au pair if they are from UK or Ireland, or if they are from an EU country, or they have settled, or they are pre-settled status under the EU settlement schemes, or they are here on a youth mobility visa. So there's a lot of restrictions, and you are still required to pay this person the minimum wage. And most of these times, the au pairs that come from other countries to the UK, they are coming to school, so they are students per se, but let's say they are students on a 1-year student visa. They're coming to learn English in the UK, and they need somebody to live with, so they will come as an au pair, and then so they are busy. They're going for lectures as well. They are studying, preparing for exams and all of that. You cannot put your burden of childcare and cooking and cleaning on this person. It's also not a very realistic route, especially in the UK. There are some countries that allow you to hire au pairs from Africa. I know of a family friend who recently moved to Germany to work as an au pair. right? And she's still in Germany as we speak. So countries like Germany, they allow you to pick au pairs from Africa, you know, and all of that. So, but in the UK, as it's related to this video that I'm talking about, you cannot get an au pair from Africa unless they're on the youth mobility visa. And do you know what the youth mobility visa scheme is? It only applies to people who are between 18 to 35 and are from Australia, Canada, New Zealand, or South Korea. Do you want an au pair? How can that person make it back for you? You understand? So that's why the au pair category is also not feasible. So the woman, if she is a diplomat, she probably skipped using this particular visa category because she did not want to pay the person minimum wage, and she did not have to go through this contract and legal. And for her, she actually qualified in terms of the past experience, because in the video she mentioned that the lady used to work for her in her country before she moved to the UK for her education.
I didn't come with her. She asked me because she has worked at my home before. She asked me.
And those who do not understand me and think I was supporting modern slavery, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that things are done differently back home. And sometimes when you travel abroad and you don't update yourself on the laws and the rules of where you are, you may find yourself wanting, because some of the things that were okay back home are totally forbidden here. Back home, somebody would say, oh, this lady is opportune to travel to the UK to work for her madam, because now she's sat on a plane, she's come abroad, and that's how some people will see it back home. And I did not read anywhere in the article or in the papers that she physically abused the woman. Only thing I remember is that the maid said the woman did not want her to work. She cut her working time, and she always felt lonely and stuck. Go back to watch the video, guys, and don't insult me. Be gentle with me, guys. So basically, this is it. What do you think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.